The EP Podcast. Heard everywhere podcasts can be found, and always at theeppodcast.com.
Every time you come over, there's pleasantries with my wife, your friend Erica, and then you work your way down here, and we record and we do the EP podcast. We have a wonderful time, you and I, Hannah.
Yes.
And then you go upstairs, and that's when it's girl talk time. But this time, I come up the stairs, and all I hear is giggling. I hear, ooh, he's cute. I hear, oh, he took you where? And you are gushing over your Valentine's Day, so we might as well get it out of the way.
Oh, let's get it out of the way.
You went out for Valentine's. First of all,
did.
This is a dicey thing for a guy. It worked out well for me. I took my wife on our second date out on Valentine's Day.
This was our second date.
Okay. And with mine, when I showed up, well, she was in a town of a couple hundred people. She had just gotten back into town. She was very pretty. And there were all kinds of country folk that had come down from the hills to take their shot with Erica Prager.
Of course.
That's what they were doing.
Everybody wanted her.
And I already had a set date. So when I showed up, there were guys standing out. One guy was whittling. I'm not kidding. He was actually making something out of wood while he was waiting to call upon her. And I come walking up, and I've got one yellow rose because I had heard that was her favorite flower.
Yeah.
And as I walk up with my one yellow rose, she had just gotten flowers delivered. The flower guy was just walking away from the door with 24 red roses from a former boyfriend.
Wow.
Yeah, trying to win her back. And I give her the one yellow rose. She shoos everybody else off the porch, dumps the 24 roses from the ex in the garbage, puts the one yellow rose into the vase.
That's awesome.
Tells her aunt goodbye because that's who she was staying with when she had just moved back in the town. And from now on, I only have to buy her one yellow rose every year, which saves me a ton of money.
It does
and it's
save
romantic.
you a lot of money.
It's huge. It's huge for me.
Sentimental. It means a lot.
So what did this guy do? Did he go all out? Because my thing was, I don't want to go all out. I just started dating you. Yeah. I'm cheap though. It worked out for me. What did this guy do?
Yeah, so he's told me that he made dinner reservations. Wasn't going to tell me where. It's going to let it be a surprise. So I like that. I thought that was fun. And, he texted me when he pulled up. I said, give me like 3 minutes and I'll be downstairs. He goes, no, I'll come up. I said, okay. So he came up, he had like the beautiful, sometimes, there's a dozen roses and it's like, okay, then there's beautiful red roses. These were beautiful red roses, nice and full and big. He had those. He got me a giant candle. He got me a card. And I'm like, wow. It's like for a second date, I was like, this is pretty, second time seeing him. I was like, this is pretty awesome. So I got all decked out. I wore a red dress.
Of course you did. It's Valentine's Day.
I wore my black strappy stilettos.
See, now I had a theory. I always had a theory when I was younger and I was in the dating scene that this was a night where girls wanted it to be special so badly that you could pick up a girl a lot easier who was single on Valentine's Day. Is that true or false? Because when I was younger, look, when I was younger, Valentine's Day when I was single was a great day. That was back when men used to talk to women and women used to talk to men. You didn't do everything on an app.
Yeah.
And you could go out and you could meet a single girl on Valentine's Day, especially if it fell on a weekend, because they were like, I didn't get a date for Valentine's Day. I'll take anyone. Like all of a sudden I became more attractive. I think the attractiveness of men goes up 20% on Valentine's Day just because of the desperation.
Yeah, there's a lot of it's just another day to me. I've never really been taken out. But you
got all dressed up. You were ready for this.
Because I had a date, It's not like, I was going out there trying to find somebody just so I could have a date for Valentine's Day,
All right, you already had the date set up. And this is the second date. Did we hear about the first date with this guy? This is an ice skating guy, is it?
No. This is, we went bowling.
Oh, you went bowling with this guy.
And then bowling went so good that we had dinner. We went and got dinner afterwards.
How old is he?
He's my age.
So you found somebody your age?
Yes, I found someone my age. Now, he's not 26.
Somebody your age who took you someplace nice on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, we ended up going to a Brazilian steakhouse.
And did he, within the first 5 minutes, say, are we ending up at my place or not?
Never.
Okay, so he was a gentleman as well.
Very much a gentleman,
At this point, the women of Evergreen Park are very excited.
Okay,
I am
good.
as well. Keep going.
All right. So, no, it went really good. So, dinner was at 4. It's the earliest, the only reservations he could get in the city like that close to Valentine's Day. So we finished up dinner early, and we ended up coming back down here and went to Rock Island Public House. We're in Blue Island.
Blue Island. You like that place. It's a late night place.
It is.
And Blue Island is a weird little town, but it's quirky.
Yeah.
And it is a fun little spot to head over to.
So,
I've been there before.
They had Valentine's Day drink specials. So it's like, let's go out there. So we went out there, had a few drinks, and then was home early. But, he lives like an hour away. So it
then
made
you
sense.
shoot him away.
Shoot him away. He walked me to the door, gave me a kiss.
Ooh, wow, you're playing hard to get with
Then
this
we're
one.
going to the auto show this weekend.
Auto show.
Yeah.
All right. How many dates until he gets invited up? What's the rule?
I don't know.
You don't know. You play it by ear.
Maybe after the auto show.
Maybe after the auto show.
Maybe. Maybe we'll have to see.
All
we'll have to
right.
see.
All right. Well, hopefully he's a listener to the EP podcast so he can prepare.
Yeah.
This episode of the EP podcast brought to you proudly by the First National Bank of Evergreen Park. They have just raised the rate that they're paying out on their statement savings special. 4% interest you're getting on the statement savings special. That's insane. 4%.
I almost choked on my wine.
Yeah. When interest rates go up, you make more money when you keep your money inside of a bank. They've got CDs. They're at like 4.25%, 4.5%. It's time to get in there if you've got some money and put it into the bank. This is where you protect it at. Don't get too crazy. Go over to the First National Bank of Evergreen Park, a community bank. They invest into this community. They love it just like you do. If you get their Total Access checking account, you get free ATMs nationwide and a $300 bonus with qualifying activities. Free ATMs, Hannah, mean no matter where you're at, no matter what the fee is, they put the money back into your account.
That's awesome.
That's insane to me. I always come up with like the stupidest things. Like, you're in Disney World. They know they got you. It's a $14 charge. They're like, yeah, we put it back in. Yeah, they
You're
do
lying.
that.
$14?
Well, I'm just coming up with like crazy ideas for them.
I'm never going to Disney.
You can't go there now. It's only for the rich. That's all it is.
It's just for the rich.
I won't even, my littlest guy keeps asking, when are we going? I'm like, we can't. Ever since the pandemic, they've raised the prices so much. They've taken away the ability to like jump around the different parks. And I get a discount because I have a cast member who's a cousin.
Yeah.
Who like takes care of me, and it's still so far out of my range.
That's
I
terrible.
Can't even imagine going right now. I can't even imagine. One day, maybe he'll get a good job and he can take himself to Disney World.
Yes,
like that's where we're at with the 7-year-old.
That's where we are right now.
The other two are the kids that will always sit around and he'll be like, you got to go to Disney and I never got to go. But back to the First National Bank of Evergreen Park. Go check them out. bankevergreenpark.com/300 for that ATM $300 bonus special, or stop in and see them about all the great rates and things that they're giving right now in that iconic building at 95th and Pulaski. Rejoining us down here at the 9-foot homemade oak bar is the head coach of Evergreen Park High School's basketball team, Jim Sexton. How are you, Jim?
Doing great. Thanks for having me again, Chris.
The regular season's over. We're getting ready for the postseason.
Absolutely, yeah. We just finished up the regular season last night. Had a nice win over Providence. We actually hit 16 three-pointers. We were able to get all the players into the game, and I believe everybody scored, or at least everybody played. So it was a real good showing out at Providence last night to finish the regular season, and we're ready to go for playoffs start next Wednesday.
Who you guys facing?
We play Brooks Academy, which is the old, for a lot of Southside people that went to Mendel. It's the old Mendel, the old St. Martin de Porres on campus.
I didn't know what Brooks was until you said that, and now I get what Mendel is.
That campus, I believe, like 111th in Indiana, so not too far, but they're hosting the regional. We're the 8 seed, they're the 9 seed in a real tough sectional. So we played them actually last year in the regional semifinal. We were the 7 seed, they were the 10 seed, and we hosted at Evergreen, and we actually unfortunately lost. So it'll be a rematch in the first round, but they're a real good program. So we've got a week of prep to get ready.
How much do you talk about what happened the year before? Because it's not going to be the exact same team, but I mean, there's got to be a little bit of we can't lose this one again. Like in the mind of a player, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Unfortunately, we've learned and we've gained experience through the season. We don't have a lot of returning players from last year, but a lot of kids that were in the program, whether they were on the JV team or maybe were on the bench on the varsity team. So we talked a little bit about it in the locker room last night after our Providence final game. And yeah, definitely there's some pride there, especially for the guys that were involved and played a lot last year in the loss to Brooks. So, to definitely, don't overdo it, but I mean, it definitely is in the back of everybody's mind. And yes, a little bit of experience playing them. The same coach, a lot of the same players from last year. So they do a lot of the same things offensively and defensively. So that kind of helps with prep.
You got your 100th win recently, right?
Correct.
As a high school basketball coach. So it's not just Evergreen. You were at Lawrence before. So it's the total sum since you started being a head coach, right?
Correct. Yep. Yeah. So this is my 6th year. I was 3 years at St. Lawrence, my 3rd year at Evergreen. Obviously, mix in that kind of weird shortened COVID season, but yeah. So that's the overall 100 wins as a varsity head coach.
That's exciting. I mean, like, what do you do? They get you a cake at home. Like, what do you mean? Like, what? How do you celebrate that?
I think the IHSA sends you a certificate, or the Illinois Basketball Coaches Association gives you a certificate somewhere down the line. But it was nice in the locker room. It was actually our senior night, so I didn't really want to talk about it, but obviously some of the players knew and were able to relay it behind my back to our administration. So they had a nice little ceremony after the game, presented me with the game ball, and then talked to a couple people outside on the court after the game, and got in the locker room, and the kids were all set with the water shower. They couldn't go full Gatorade bucket, but new thing is just the water bottles and your water dumped on me. So it was a nice celebration, and that's all I need for now.
That's all I ever see whenever I see like stuff on an Instagram or a Twitter. When the college basketball coach walks in, they dump water. How often do you get stuff dumped on you? Is that like all part of the process? Like, you're like, well, this is how I bond with these young guys. I let them dump stuff on me.
Yeah, I guess that's the best. The other thing I see a lot is coaches dancing. I'm never gonna dance. So if the kids want to dump water on me after a big win, whether it be a playoff win or a big regular season win, or some type of milestone, that's great. Well, we have fun with it, and yeah, they love to post that stuff on Instagram and any social media.
Take record out of it. What did you feel about this year going into the playoffs? Do you already feel it's successful? Is it unfinished business? What are you feeling right now about the season?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely wouldn't say the season is successful unless you have a playoff run. I think there's been a lot of positives. We entered the season 17-14. We had a lot of ups and downs. We were great at points. We had some really big wins. We beat Oak Lawn, who at the time was 15th in the Sun Times rankings. Thought we had a really good chance to get through the conference and win the conference after beating them early in the year. Fortunately, we were unable to do that. We ended up in second behind Oak Lawn, who has a really good program. So that was some gaining experience. We've got a freshman point guard. We've got a lot of juniors that didn't have a lot of returning experience. We only brought back a couple seniors, 3 seniors. So I think we've gained a maturity and definitely experience to make a nice little playoff run. Like I said, though, we play some tough teams. Brooks is really good. And if we were to hopefully beat Brooks, we would play Hillcrest, who's one of the top 3A teams in the state every year. And we had a real close game with them at home a couple weeks ago, where we were actually tied early in the fourth quarter. They ended up kind of wearing us down at the end and won by 8. So at least our guys know that they can beat the number 1 seed and compete with them. So I think that's, still the main goal is to beat Brooks and give Hillcrest the best chance to win a regional championship as we can.
And another accomplishment in the Sexton house, your son plays on the team. And didn't he break just like some point scoring thing, or he reached a milestone in that? What was I reading about a week ago?
Yeah, Nolan, my son, ended up breaking the 1,000-point barrier as a high school player again, which is
what year is he?
He's a junior.
So he's still got another year.
Correct.
To continue to add to that point total.
Yes.
That's pretty impressive right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he started as a freshman and a sophomore, and he's been pretty steady as far as his points. Like I said, it's even probably more impressive that he's got the 1,000 with only playing 13 games his freshman year because of COVID. So it's an impressive mark. I guess there's been some question if he's the all-time leading scorer. Tried to go back in the archives, and unfortunately, we don't have maybe the greatest records in the last 30 to 40 years. And I know we ran into the same thing back when I was years and years ago when I was at Rice. Sometimes those scorebooks are stored away somewhere in a locker somewhere or somebody's basement. So,
do you know your total points?
I had my total points at Brother Rice. I had 1,643.
Okay, so he's nowhere near you yet.
Yeah, he would have to have
remind him of that? Is that what you tell him?
No, he's definitely aiming for it. I think he's now, after that was a couple weeks ago that he got the 1,000th, he's probably at about 1,200 now. So he's got a pretty good chance at beating that next year. So, my mark and whoever there may have been previous to him at Evergreen, if that's ever uncovered, I think he's still got a pretty good chance at ending up with, at least 17 or 1,800 points. So that's pretty solid high school career.
Sitting here with the head coach of the Evergreen Park Mustang basketball team, Jim Sexton. Big playoff game on Wednesday, hopefully kicking off a very long run in the postseason for Evergreen Park High School. A reminder to all of you out there listening to the EP podcast, when you've been injured, you need a team that will do what it takes to fight for your rights. At the law offices of Parente and Norm, their team has the experience, dedication, proven results it takes to get you the care and compensation you deserve. And the law offices of Parente and Norm have recovered over $400 million for their injured clients and their loved ones. EP podcast listeners get a free case evaluation. Call or text them today, 312-641-5926, or visit pninjurylaw.com. Talking about you coaching your son, Nolan, what is that like? Well, I mean, I did it when they were younger, right? Like, I mean, I think I coached some baseball, I coached some soccer, I coached some softball, with my daughter. I know that there's a thing there where it's like, it's your kid. You try not to be too hard on them. You can't be too soft on them. You have to treat everybody else equal when you're doing it. But I know that it's a kind of a different dynamic. Like, I remember that there was a game where I had my daughter in a big game, in a playoff game, and I walked up to her and I said something. She thought I was going to give words of wisdom, and I just looked at her. I'm like, just shut up and get a hit. I mean, like, the only thing only a dad could say that to their kid. You said that to another player, they might look at you like, what are you talking to me like that for? You can get away with it when it's your kid. What's that dynamic like?
Yeah, I mean, there's I was actually talking to a reporter last night after our game, and and he had asked me a similar question, and there's a lot of positives. I mean, to have those great moments again, big wins, milestone wins, point records, things like that are so fun to enjoy and to have together. And another component of it is Nolan grew up with all these guys, pretty much every kid on the team, they grew up together. They went to grade school together. They played ball growing up together. So I've known a lot of these kids since they were little. And that's an extra really added, part of enjoyment that I love, to be able to watch these kids grow and then kind of have success, at the high school level as well. But as far as him and me, I mean, we're both two kind of stubborn, intense individuals. So yeah, there are some times where we do butt heads, almost literally sometimes. So, so there are some kind of heated exchanges, especially during games. And that's one of the kind of tough parts about it. But, after the game, everything is settled down, or even during practice. And sometimes I use it as a motivating mechanism for other players too, because like you said, you can't do that to other players. And hopefully if they see me getting on him in certain, he's kind of our leader. He's been there. Like I said, he started since a freshman. If I get on him, and as a motivational piece, I think it sometimes carries over to other kids, like you said, because you can't do that to the kids that aren't your own.
Yeah. And the other thing is, you always hear about how coaches' kids become very coachable later on, right? Like, I mean, that's like something I remember following that, like, even in college basketball, there'd be some guy in the NCAA tournament. He'd be like the darling of that round. And the announcers are right away were like, well, his dad coached him in high school. And they always say he's really coachable. Like, there's something about like the coach's kid, because of probably those extra conversations, where he's really focused. And I mean, it kind of shows, because look at the point total that he's put up.
Yeah, sure. No, I mean, he's definitely a talented kid, but I mean, it's, like I said, I mean, it's been since he's little. He was going to my games at St. Lawrence when I was coaching that. He would bring his friends. They would sit behind the bench. So, and then as a player, he's the first one to see a lot of the film. He's a lot of the, I bounce ideas off him. Actually, we've got a really good group of kids, even though they're fairly young, that we can kind of bounce ideas off of. And it's not always the coaches just kind of dictating, here's what we're going to do. We've got a freshman point guard, Lonnie Mosley, who as a freshman really is a smart player and has a really high basketball IQ. So I'm able to bounce ideas off those guys and see what they're comfortable doing, So it's not just coach says this. Sometimes, there's certain situations where the coaches are going to have the final call, and it is what it is. But it's nice to be able to work with the players and kind of see what they feel comfortable with offensively and defensively. And Nolan's a big part of that too.
Awesome. Well, you got your first playoff game coming up on Wednesday. Hopefully you're going to make a run You said success is based upon how far of a run that you can make. So clearly you're looking at, we got to win this game and I want to keep moving on after that. I mean, I'd hate to have you have to handicap what your chances are in this postseason tournament, but you must have looked at it. What kind of chance do you think EP has to push far into this tournament?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be really front loaded because, like I said, Brooks is really good. We had played a close game with them last year, and I think that's definitely going to be tough. But I think it's a very winnable game. Hillcrest, like I said, I think they're 24, 25-3. They're traditionally one of the top 3A teams in the state. If they're not this year, they're right up there. But like I said, we've proven that we could play with them. We played them January 27th and hung with them right to the end. So, I mean, kind of a moral victory there, which we don't want to take another one of those. But so I think, it'd be definitely good to beat Brooks, and beating Hillcrest would be on paper an upset. But I think we definitely got the guys. If we can find that, like I said, we hit 16 3-pointers last night. If we can find our rhythm shooting, and we've got 3 or 4 guys that can really hit threes and get the ball inside against Hillcrest, even though they've got a lot of size, I think we could definitely do that. And yeah, I mean, not to discount like I said, the things we've done during the season. When we won 17 games, we won 17 games last year. Back-to-back 17-win seasons is pretty successful. But like I said, I've always seen it as winning the conference, which unfortunately came up a little short, and then making a playoff run. So conference is out of the question. So I think making the playoff run would be put a mark on a successful season.
Head coach Jim Sexton, he coaches your Evergreen Park High School Mustang basketball team, and I guarantee you there are moments where he wishes he could just run out there and throw up a few himself. He was a heck of a basketball player when we were back in high school. I watched from the stands. He was the athlete. But you got a good team there. Sounds exciting. Can't wait to see what happens. You got a young team, too, so whatever happens in the postseason, you're building on it. It's very exciting. Another really cool thing going on right here in the EP. Thanks a lot, Coach.
Thanks, Chris. I appreciate it, buddy.
Building relationships, supporting the community, and service. These are the things that Country Financial stands for. They're more than just an office you may pass by as you drive through Evergreen Park. They're neighbors who lend a helping hand and support the fabric of your community, including charitable organizations, sports, financial education, and civic organizations. And since Country is already your neighbor, they want to get together and chat. Call your local Country Financial representative, Mike Thauer, today at 708-425-1559 to talk about the things that are important to you and how he can help you protect them. You notice I'm drinking bourbon today.
You are drinking bourbon, and that's it's been vodka lately. So what
No,
brought
it
up?
hasn't. Has it been vodka?
Have you been drinking vodka?
Super
What are
Bowl.
you doing, vodka,
Super Bowl,
Red
I was
Bull?
doing Red Bull vodka because
Yeah.
I was tired.
Okay, that's why.
On
Okay.
Sundays, I get a little worn out.
Okay.
I wanted to be awake for the game.
Okay.
And that's what I was doing. I just had a couple of those. I'm not really normally a vodka
Okay.
drinker. I was just trying to pep myself up.
Got it.
Is what I was doing.
Got
okay.
it.
Kids, don't be like Uncle Chris, who puts vodka in all of his drinks. Okay. I mean, you don't need to drink to have fun. Okay. But I'm having a bourbon today. It's a bourbon day. Today was windy outside. I was having a wonderful day. I got the kids off to school. I'm chilling out, having lunch, look outside at the pool with the cover, and that bubble in the middle of the pool, the big giant pillow, is gone.
Oh, it's gone?
And I can't figure out how that's possible because the cover's strapped down all around. So I go outside and I'm looking, and the thing, somehow the wind got underneath the cover, pushed it all the way over to the corner. It came loose from how I had it attached.
Oh,
in the center of the pool. And I've got to push it back into the center because that's what stops ice from ripping your liner apart. You have to have that thing sitting in the middle of your pool.
Yes, you do.
So I'm like, okay, so I undid part of the side of the cover, got like a retractable pole that I have in the garage, pushed the thing out into the center, threw some weights down on the top of the cover that were like some light things that are plastic, just to kind of hold it there. Put some water on the top of it because I had drained some of it off after everything that had been out there, and I got it secure.
Okay.
I'm feeling good about myself. I walk over to the garage. It's an older garage. When I bought this house 17 years ago, the garage was falling apart. Mm-hmm. I've never done anything with the garage. I've gotten away with it for 17 years.
Okay.
I go to shut the garage door. The entire garage door comes right out of the ceiling of the garage.
Oh, no.
And collapses and almost kills me. Like the whole garage door just comes down on me.
Oh, no.
In the driveway. Like,
Did the track fall off?
Fell backwards, landed on my butt. Garage door lands like right above my legs. It hit something in the garage or it would have crushed my legs.
Oh,
whole
my
thing comes down,
God.
comes completely off the rack except for like two little like things that were on the track. Just falls on me. The garage door in the middle of the day. My day is instantly gone to crap. My son comes walking up from school 2 minutes later and he's like, "What happened, Dad?" I'm like screaming. I'm like, "The garage door just fell, almost killed me and everything." It took me and him. And God, thank you, God, that this happened when I had a teenager who's kind of strong.
Yeah.
Who can help. Like there was another able-bodied person that could help me because he helped me kind of get the rest of it off and then prop it up. And we basically sealed the garage because it was all wood. The door is so old, it's wood. And the garage is wood. So we basically boarded up the big door with itself because it'll never work again. And now I have to go garage door shopping.
Oh, no.
And in the process of fixing it, the garage door fell on my head twice while I was trying to get this thing propped up. So yes, it's been
time for a new door.
Awful day. It's been an awful, I don't even know how to start with a garage door.
So that's the bourbon.
That's it. Yeah. So it's bourbon day today.
It's bourbon day.
It's bourbon day today. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I mean,
you deserve a bourbon. After that.
Everything was going wonderful. I went over to the American Legion. You know, they got that commercial at the beginning of the show. They're telling me about all the stuff that they've got going on. I got to sit right here. On the 11th of March, they're doing a St. Pat's party, $40 ticketed event, corned beef, entertainment, bands playing there, and it's 5 hours open bar for $40.
Open bar?
Yeah. 5 hours of it, 6:30 to 11:30 at night on the 11th. That's the night before the Southside Irish Parade.
Wow.
Like your weekend's set now. You go to the Legion on Kedzie Avenue, you go to the parade the next day. Your weekend's set.
That's amazing.
It's insane. I mean,
That's awesome.
they were telling me this. I'm like, I don't know why I wouldn't. I'm coming. I'm like, I'm going to be there. Their Queen of Hearts is over $30,000 right now over there. The Wednesday night drawings for it. I had a good time over there. I'm hanging out. The Legion's becoming like a thing where I like going to because like you can even get like craft beer and stuff there and imports and everything's like $3. It's like it's the cheapest prices in town.
Best
it's a
kept
cool
secret.
bar. It's the best kept secret in Evergreen Park. And I'm like having a good time. I'm driving along. I went and got lunch. I'm on my way home and I'm like, this is the best day ever. And then a garage door fell on me.
Twice.
3 times.
Oh, 3 times. That's right.
Twice
3
on my
times.
head, once on my legs.
That's right.
Yeah. Everything's going wonderful here.
How's that bourbon?
Oh, it's so tasty right now, Hannah.
It's so tasty.
It is now time for your EP podcast, Word on the Street, brought to you by Cool Clouds Vapor Shop. Quitting smoking is hard, and Cool Clouds wants to give you an alternative. They have a full taster bar, great CBD products, and they're located on the northeast corner of 95th and Kedzie, right next to the very soon to open Spoken Vine. Stop in and see them at 3148 West 95th Street or visit coolcloudsvapor.com. This Saturday, the 25th of February, 9 a.m. at the Community Center, 3450 West 97th Street, the mayor is having coffee. You can have coffee with her. Sit down, have a cup, and talk to her about what's going on in the village. There's also a teen and adult job fair coming very soon to the village of Evergreen Park. It's going to be hosted by the Evergreen Park Public Library on the 5th of March. 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. at the library. That's at 9400 South Troy. People are always complaining they can't find something close to home. I'm looking at the list of places that are going to be at this job fair. Lots of local businesses looking for those ready to work. This Saturday and Sunday, the second annual Capuano Classic 4-on-4 hockey tournament is taking place. The guys behind it were down here on this show just a few weeks ago. You can check out their interview on demand anywhere podcasts can be found and always at the eppodcast.com. If you missed it, maybe you should be subscribed. It's free. It sounds like it's going to be a blast, even if you're not playing in it. They get a lot of spectators out. They have an awful lot of fun. Go by and check out some great outdoor hockey this weekend in Evergreen Park. And District 124 is kicking off their kindergarten registration March 13th. Mark it on the calendar. Get details, sign up. D124.org. Last segment of the show brought to you by SidSauce.net. Peppers grown in Evergreen Park, those hot peppers made into hot sauces here in Evergreen Park, and then delivered to your door. These are the only hot sauces I use. There is a flavor for every type of food. They got a garlic one that's insane. They have a strawberry-based one that I can't get enough of on tacos. The mango habanero will melt your face. See everything they have to offer at sidsauce.net. So Southside Pod, another podcast here on the Broadcast Basement On Demand Radio Network. EP podcast so popular, other suburbs want to get involved. So Southside Pod covers everything around Evergreen Park in the South Side. Also broadcast out of here. Bill and Mike sit down with me. That's more of a guy show.
It is.
It's a dude
It's a fun show.
It's a fun show, but it's a
fun
dude.
show.
We tell jokes and we act like goofballs.
Yeah.
We go out. We do a lot of more restaurant reviews because there's more restaurants for me to hit.
Right.
Okay. And there's a lot of breweries and I'm into that. And there's distilleries and things like that. So we probably go out more than this show, although I would like to get out more here in the spring and the summer again with the EP podcast. But anyway, I told the guys about you being back on the EP podcast. They were very excited.
Good.
Okay.
Good.
And then I told them about the fact that you're on the dating scene.
Oh, yeah.
And this aired last week on Southside Pod. I just want to know what your thoughts are on this.
You should do a dating game episode for her.
I think it'd be great.
Southside dating game.
I think she's totally into it.
Bill should be the host for that too, by the way.
Yeah.
Bill should
We'll
totally
get three
be
eligible bachelors from different suburbs of, during the Southside Pod.
eligible in quotes, by the way.
that
for
would
the
be great,
South
Yeah,
Side.
no, it's going to be three married guys.
Married guy.
Looking for a side piece.
Looking for little,
We got three married
looking for
guys
little
from the South
Sunday
Side
dates
looking for
after
something
softball.
on the DL available on nights that he plays softball or goes to his bowling league.
When he's on daily date, he tells his wife he's working it. He can spend the night.
This could be great. This could be some great.
And they're probably dead by now because they got caught
They
and
got
murdered.
fake mustaches on.
My name is Jean-Claude. Got a very long pencil mustache.
I think we should seriously think about doing this, though.
I think it's a great idea.
Southside dating game.
How about this? It could be a crossover between the shows. Let's
Absolutely,
find three Southside
Right.
men, eligible bachelors,
Right.
that would like to date. Hannah
Right.
is I can't remember if it's 38 or 39.
Find
it's not
Hannah
40
a
yet.
banana.
Right. Find Hannah a banana. Get the so as you can tell, it's a bunch of guys
It's a banana.
screwing around. So I mean, I want you to think about it, but this might be the crossover between the two
I
shows.
think this could be fun. I think this could be fun.
All right. So if you've never heard Southside Pod, subscribe to that as well, and we'll see if this materializes very soon.
All right.
Look at all those people in this great suburb driving down 95th and Kedzie. What a great place. It's called Evergreen Park, but we know it better as the EP. We're known for more than just the Unabomber. Remember Ted Kaczynski? You guys might even remember that big old rooster on 95th Street. It's all part of EP's history. So listen up to the EP podcast. You might be asking why. Because we talk about all things and we celebrate all the great things in the 60805. It's the EP podcast. All things Evergreen Park. It's the EP podcast. Evergreen Park.